What's up, Coachella? Your Vampire Weekend. How you doing? So this is one of our, this next song's kind of one of our summertime jams. Perfect for a night like this. You ready? Still feeling good? Okay.
Line of people you see here is just for the beer tent, just to get in the beer tent. There's a big ass long line every time. Just gonna walk us through. You can see people just kind of cross over every each way. It's not too much for walking paths or anything like that. It just kind of happens. Just kind of happens here. They do these things too with the balloons where they put them on a string and they go all the way across the field. It's kind of an interesting thing. It's kind of nice for the decor. It looks cool in the day and at night. But you can see there in the distance is outdoor. The outdoor stage. I think we'll just go over this just to take a look because the background to it is incredible. You can see the palm trees just kind of as a backdrop at night. The palm trees light up, and it's really just an incredible backdrop to the stage itself here. So this stage we're going to is called the outdoor stage. It's a secondary stage. If you look over this way, you're seeing these tents here. These are actually the beer gardens here. This beer garden gets packed just because it's in between the two main stages, and so a lot of people just like to sit and drink beer and just kind of casually watch the music on both sides. That's why those lines were so big back there. So okay, we're getting closer to the outdoor stage. Just kind of showing you, this is one corner of the venue here, and so the main stage is in one corner. This is in the next corner. So we'll just kind of walk over here. It's very breezy today, and it was very mild, considerably speaking. It was about 80 to, like, probably in the mid to high 80s, which for here isn't anything because it was like a chilly breeze, like a mild breeze. I don't know if you can hear it with all the sound bleed, but they're playing Beasties. It's got the crowd going here. People are waiting for Pretty Lights to come on the stage right now. Not the biggest fan of them, but you can see the palms. You can see the palms as a backdrop. It's really cool. All right, now I'm gonna kind of move on. Go the other way here. Keep going here. You're going to see a whole bunch of random people of all shapes, sizes, fashions, lack thereof, everything included. Now that is probably in a lot of the pictures you'll see there's a Ferris wheel and there is the famous Do Lab. The Do Lab is this art installation that's put smack dab in the middle of the festival grounds every year. And they have kind of small-time local DJs that spin there, but they also have kind of a goth-style Cirque du Soleil show called Lucien Dossier that plays their event there too. They're actually the ones that kind of run the stage. But yeah, this is kind of a cool design you can see here, like this kind of orangish pinkish colors. Every year it's a different thing. It's really neat. This is one of these tents right here. It's actually one of the many food courts. And then this big tent that I'm zooming in on now, or that's right in the middle, that's the first of 3 tents. It's the smallest of 3 tents, called the Gobi tent. That's kind of where a lot of the supposedly smaller acts end up playing. It's how it's supposed to work out. It doesn't always work out that way, but it's the intent of it. So here, as we're getting closer to the Do Lab, I'll actually walk in there quick, give you a view here. Yeah! But as we keep moving around here, I'm not sure how long this phone's going to let me film. Hopefully it'll let me keep going here. We're at the 6-minute point. I know if you're watching this, you're like, fast forward. Oh, and this thing right here, this thing is a crane, but when it opens up, it's going to look like a dragonfly or a bug or something like that when it blossoms up. It's one of the many art installations here. All right. We're about to enter in the Do Lab here. It's actually not that busy right now. The Do Lab actually does very well during the day when it's peak sun, peak heat, because these white things you can kind of see towards the top right of your screen, top middle of your screen, they spray out mist, so people are boogieing down to their favorite music, and music, and they're getting water sprayed on them, and it's super hot out. Also, if you look under here, people can sit under these things. In the peak of the day, it's very cool. Wasn't that just lovely? And that's a giant snail and it's motorized, and they've been designing it as it's gone on, so it didn't have that much artwork on the shell part of it as time went on, but kind of gives you a general idea. Alright, now here's the smallest of the tents I was talking about. This is the Gobi tent. I'll have to pull out my pocket schedule to tell you who's playing here. It looks like... Sorry, ladies. Oh, this is Father John Misty. I'm going to keep on moving here. And we are on to the next of 3 tents. It's the Mojave. It's a little bit bigger. They do get some pretty big acts in there. The headliner in the Mojave last night was New Order, which is a pretty big act. So, I mean, it can hold some people in it. You see, we get closer here to get a general idea. Just going to give you more of a sky out here. As the sun goes down here, it's so beautiful. Just so incredibly beautiful. I'm going to keep going here. Sorry for the shakiness of this. This is all impromptu. They have little minor tents in between. Some are sponsored, some are just for bathrooms. That one has a charging station. I think there's a PlayStation one. And as we move down further this way, there's a lot more foot traffic. Even though we're away from the main stages, the area is kind of more concentrated with these tents, and the big Sahara dance tent, which we're going to next, is right next there, and so there's always a mass exodus of people in and out. There's also a beer garden down there, which takes a lot of people. So it looks like we're about to see La Rue here, you know, Bulletproof. So we're gonna move on up and let's see if we can get a little view of La Rue. Onto an art installation. Just kind of more along the side, there's some food vendors here. Installations right here. And onto that next will be this big monstrosity called the Sahara Dance Tent. It's kind of look like these Asian Buddhist temple kind of things, I guess would be the best way to describe it, for me to guess, I guess. Bathroom tents and more tents behind it. Yeah, that's why they call it Music and Arts Festival. There's a view of the side of Mojave there too. Now we're going on to the end here of the Sahara Dance Tent. We're actually going to go to one more area after this, one of the food courts that also has a mini tent. Actually has two mini tents in it, but so many obnoxious people because we're over by the beer garden. So there's going to be a few more cocks, and also it's you get a lot of bros in between the Sahara Dance Tent playing all their cheese stick David Guetta style like.